Hey guys, it is Helen Miamii Moon and welcome to this tarot tutorial video. Today we are going to go over a one card tarot spread, also known as a one card tarot reading. And one card tarot spreads I feel are really underrated. I love one card tarot readings. I think that there is so much that you can get. It can get very insightful. It can get very, very meaningful. And just to give you an example, I've done some one card readings that really transformed into like a 30-minute conversation. So, you know, that saying, a picture says 1,000 words, I feel really rings true to a one card tarot reading. So for today's tarot reading, or for today's tarot, for today's tutorial, I am using my tarot deck. It's called Aubergine Tarot, and this tarot deck is closely related to the Crowley Thoth tarot deck. It's just got a different look to it, but the premise, the looks, the premise, the structure, and even just what the images that I chose to use are very heavily in line with the Crowley Thoth tarot deck. All right, so one card tarot spreads, I think generally it is really good for beginners, but you know, this is something I think that people can, you know, whether you're a beginner or an expert, you can really get a lot out of a one card tarot reading. So for beginners, if you are, you know, you're new to tarot, you're getting acquainted with your tarot deck, you are developing that relationship with your tarot deck, a one card tarot spread really simplifies the pieces. It's very straightforward and it's not a lot of things to put together. So like, let's say you're brand new to tarot and you like start off with a Celtic cross, you're going to feel a little bit overwhelmed because it's like a lot of puzzle pieces to connect and different storylines to connect, but the one card just gives you one thing to really connect and piece together. Let's say you're an expert and you are a tarot reader and you do a lot of tarot readings for events. I've used the one card tarot reading for anywhere from like a very high volume event. So like there's 1,000 people to, you know, an intimate setting where it's like 30 people. It just really depends on the crowd and it depends on the situation, but I do like the one card tarot reading for events just because it creates a very meaningful connection, but in a shortened amount of time, you know. And when we are doing events, tarot readers, time is of essence, and we don't want to spend 30 minutes on one person when there's, you know, 30 to 100 or even 100 people that are hoping to get a connection via the tarot. So I do like the one card tarot reading. I think that it can be appropriate in certain event situations. I've also seen one card tarot readings for let's say you're I've seen one card tarot readings for like a business meeting. So I know that we're not in-person situations right now, but we could definitely utilize that over a Zoom conversation. But using a one card tarot reading to facilitate or set a tone for your meeting, I find really helpful. I've done it personally, and then I've also have seen other leaders, other business leaders do that for their team meetings as well. And I think it just kind of keeps things personal. It gives some people to talk something to talk about, and it's a great way to just jumpstart that meeting. All right, so that's a couple of examples of how you can use this one card tarot spread. And again, it could be personal, or it can even just be as a reader, or even just if you are a beginner and you're just facilitating and allowing people in your group to work with the cards. It doesn't really matter, you know, whether you're a beginner or not. So So I'm going to take a quick little break right here. And if you liked this video so far and you would like to continue to see more videos like this, more tarot related videos like this, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button for me in the corner of the screen. Hopefully I'm pointing it in the right direction, and you will not miss a single video from me if you do. And also note that we drop a video here every Thursday. All right, so let's get into this. Let's set the stage for a 1-card tarot reading. So before you work with the cards, I highly recommend you cleanse the space that you are working in. For me personally, I do a physical clean and then a spiritual clean. So a physical clean, I'll run the vacuum. I'll just, make sure that the space looks somewhat clean. I make sure like the pillows are put into place, the bed's made. I literally go through my house and make sure everything looks neat and intentional. It doesn't have to be like scrubbing the walls or anything, but I do think that it's important to do that because it helps me focus. And I'm encouraging you to do the same thing because I think that it'll help you focus as well. You don't want to get distracted by a dirty dish towel that's in front of you, or anything else. So cleaning your space, physically cleaning your space, and then after you physically clean your space, I recommend spiritually cleansing, which is via Palo Santo or via sage. And if you are sensitive to smoke, you could always get a spritzer. I think that you could even buy a Palo Santo essential oil or even a sage essential oil, and you can put it in a little spritzer bottle with some water, and just spraying that helps cleanse the space. So again, physical cleansing, and then also spiritual cleansing before you work with the cards. So after you've done that, now you would want to set some sort of an intention with working with the cards. And intention setting is important just because it gives direction with the reading, but it doesn't have to be a specific question. So commonly, if you're resorting to the cards, you may have something that's pressing on your mind. Let's say you put an offer in a house and you would like spiritual guidance. That is setting an intention. Let's say you are concerned about some dealings that have been going on at work. That is also setting an intention. But also, let's say there's nothing pressing on your mind, and you really just don't know what to ask, or you don't have anything to ask, or you don't even know where to start. From that, this would be considered a general reading, and I call that resorting to your higher self. It doesn't have to be your higher self. It could also be your higher source, and that can really look like anything for anybody. So you could also fit whatever belief system that works for you. But I generally call it resorting to your higher self. And by that, your higher self, I look at that as the part of you that is looking for the best. It's looking for the greater good. And it's not just the best for you, but it's also the best for the greater good. So resorting to your higher self is an option. So specific question or resorting to your higher self. In today's example, I'm actually just going to resort to my higher self, and it looks something like this. Let's see. I'll generally hold the cards. So it looks like this. I'll hold the cards in my hands, and I'll say this to myself, or right now I'm going to say it out loud. Tarot, what does my higher self want me to know right now? And when I'm doing that, I'm actually closing my eyes, and I am bringing focus and intention into the cards when I'm saying that. Okay, so we've set an intention, And, you know, I think something that can be helpful is writing down your intention. So after you've made that clear with the cards, you could also write it down. I know that for me, when I was working with the cards, when I first started working with the cards, and I guess even still to this day, sometimes I will forget my intention. Like I go into it feeling like I know what I want to hear or whatnot. And then once I draw the cards, sometimes I'll go into this over-analyzing situation, especially if it's with me. I think it's more specifically with drawing cards with myself. And when that happens, I lose focus on why I even resorted to the cards in the first place. So especially if you are new and you are, especially if you're new and you are trying to stay focused and intentional with this intention setting, I think writing it down will be very, very helpful for you. Okay, so after you've set your intention, we want to shuffle. And shuffling the cards, there's so many ways of doing this. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. But I'm just going to start it off like this. And generally I'll do something kind of like this for a couple of seconds. I don't really know what kind of shuffle technique this is really called, but I'm just mixing up the cards. And while I'm doing this, I am saying my intention to myself, and it goes into this rhythm like a mantra, like, what does my higher self want me to know? What does my higher self want me to know? And I'm saying that to myself over and over again in repetition as I am shuffling the cards. And then from there, I do poker style 3 times. So 1. And again, I'm mantraing. What does my higher self want me to know? What does my higher self want me to know? 2. What does my higher self want me to know? My higher self want me to know. 3. And then I'm still mantraing. And I'll actually split them up like this. We'll start with the center, over and over. Now hold the cards in my hands, close my eyes again, and repeat that mantra again. What does my higher self want me to know? What does my higher self want me to know? When I'm doing this, I have my eyes closed and I am putting a lot of focus into the cards. And that is my shuffle process. And there's really no wrong way of shuffling the cards. There's so many different ways, and everyone has their own style. I look at shuffling as a ritual set. It's something that makes me feel secure. It's kind of like a little OCD thing where I do this every single time before I do my reading. And it just puts me in that headspace, and it just, sets the tone and sets the energy and sets the focus. All right, so from here, with 1 card tarot readings, I do a selection. I'll draw a card. And drawing a card can look a little bit like this. So, I think it depends on, in my personal experience, I feel like it really depends on a person's personality. So for people that are like very structured and organized, I call it the crescent moon, or even just fanning the cards out. And this is considered fanning the cards. So you just placing them in a way where you're able to see them all in an organized fashion. And then from here you would draw. Now, for people that are a little bit, they've got like a fun, scattered, wild personality, you could just spread these cards out all over the place and do kind of like an adventure draw. But I'm going to show you how I draw via the fanning, or considered, it's either fanning the cards or the crescent moon. And with this, what I begin to do is I'm visually scanning all of the cards while I'm thinking about my intention. I'm monitoring my intention, and I'm scanning the cards visually. And from there, I'm going to start to bring my hand on top of them. And it doesn't matter which hand, it's whatever hand feels comfortable to you. And from here, I always feel like a force, or just kind of something that's like drawing me in. The best way I could explain it is it just feels like there's like a force. And there's a part to these cards where like a section just feels more heavier, and I feel a lot more drawn to it physically. And then from there, I'm also using my eyes when I'm doing this, but there's going to be one that sticks out the most to me, and it's that one right there. And then I'll draw that card. So that's just an example of how you can draw a card or select a card. Again, there's a lot of different ways. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, really. But that's a system that really works well for me. All right, so the card that I ended up drawing was the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups, I'll give you guys a little insight in how I'm connecting with this, is Seven of Cups is generally a time where I call it like the slippery slope time, where it's saying that I'm very vulnerable to slipping down a slope of vices. So, these are little things that aren't really good for my emotional health. It's little things that I know that isn't really that good for me, but for whatever reason, I'm indulging in it, or I'm like very attracted to it. And so with that, the Seven of Cups, it's just this little reminder for me of like, right now I'm very vulnerable to that. So I need to really focus on emotional balance. I need to really take care of myself in a way where I'm not, even if I do slip a little bit, I'm not sliding down a hill. I just, I dip in a little bit. So this is just a little reminder. Again, I'm a little bit vulnerable right now via the card. What the cards are telling me is that I'm a little bit vulnerable, and to do what I can to stay emotionally balanced so that I can see things clearer. So part of the thing too is like when you slip, down that slope, there could be this, you begin to not really see your reality clearer. And so with that, it's saying like, right now I'm not in that state where I might be seeing things clearly, and I think that this is kind of an interesting card to get for me personally, just because, we are in eclipse season, and that moon is going to be squaring Neptune in Pisces. And so that energy of just, maybe getting sucked into a illusion, or being excited about an illusion and not seeing the full details around things. I think, energetically, cosmically, astrologically, that's what's being presented to not just me, but collectively. And then this to me is just kind of this like extra reminder of that energy I am susceptible to. And so do what I can to find that emotional balance. All right, so I gave you guys a little insight on what is up with my soul right now. So, that is generally what I see with that Seven of Cups card. Okay, so after you've selected your card, you've dissected it, for you guys, for this example, I am seasoned with the cards, and so therefore I have a understanding and can connect the dots a little bit quicker when I'm getting the card. But so let's say you're a beginner and you selected your card. Well, you could just always resort to the guidebook that comes with your tarot deck. You can also go to the internet, things like, I think like Biddy Tarot is a good resource in terms of getting some interpretations or some examples of how to interpret certain cards. And then from there, what you're going to do is find specific things that are happening in your life that is in relation to what that card is symbolizing or what it's calling to you. And again, if you are new to tarot and you are doing this one card spread, I highly recommend that you do a writing prompt. And the writing prompts really helped me draw the connections and draw the pieces together. And so what you would end up writing is how you were connecting with that card. Like, how specifically, what was it in your life that this card called to you? And part of that too is like, that's how you begin to create like I'm going to call it like a database of information specific to you on what a card means. That's information that you can roll over into another reading. Say you see that card again. All right. So once you've done that, once you've gained the insights of the card that you just selected, with just like any other ritual, you want to close out the reading. And so closing out the reading is just putting that tarot card back into the pile, closing everything back up, and I'll actually say a little prayer. So, tarot, thank you for your guidance today. When I'm saying that, I am putting focus into the cards. And from that, I generally will cleanse my cards as well. So, cleansing removes any energy that is not serving you. And, what was being, the insights that we just gained here. Trying to do this without you guys seeing me, but I think it's just making it look like I don't know. I don't have any direction. So sorry about that, you guys. When it comes to tarot, it has absorbed energy that was serving me right now. What was serving me is just the insights. What does my higher self want me to know? But we don't want that stuck in here. And so I think I always like to cleanse out my cards after I've worked with them, just to release everything. And then from there, I always just put my tarot deck back into whether like the box that it came in, or I do have an altar space for my cards. So I will also place that there. All right, so that is how we do a one-card tarot reading or a one-card tarot spread. As you can see, it's just a very calm and a very simple thing that you can do. It also, there's a lot of insights that can come from that one card. So, again, whether you're a beginner or an expert, I feel like this is a tarot spread that everyone can use and really can benefit from. And again, if you really like this video and you found this really helpful, you'd like to see more videos just like this, hit that subscribe button for me. You won't miss a single video from me, and you can expect a video to come out every Thursday. All right, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.